Good Monday evening. I'm Chief Meteorologist Emily Walls, and I'm sure you felt it today if you are anywhere within the Midwest region, especially Chicagoland, but then also stretching all the way over to the mid-Atlantic states, off to the Northeast. All of us are dealing with a lot of heat, and what it's coming down to is something that we call a heat dome. So what is that? It's basically an upper-level high-pressure system that's acting as a lid to hold in that hot air. So under high pressure, you have sinking air. So as it descends, it compresses and then it warms. So all of this hot air, it's just stuck over the eastern half of the U.S. So take a look at this map here. Notice how we have this large area of orange over the eastern half of the U.S. That's basically the weather pattern that we have. That's where that upper level high pressure system is, and it's going to stay there for the next couple of days, especially into tomorrow and Wednesday. A lot of us are just going to be stuck underneath this heat dome. And again, it's impacting a lot of locations, not just us here in the Chicagoland area, but a huge portion of the eastern half of the U.S. is under some sort of heat headline. And I'm going to show you that in just a moment or two. But I did have several people reaching out to me on social media asking, what is the urban heat island and how does it work? So I threw together this graphic to explain it a little bit to you. So around the urban areas or a city, you have a lot of concrete, you have a lot of asphalt, and that's going to be holding on to a lot more heat than what grass can do or other sorts of vegetation. So it's not unheard of that in a city, if your temperatures during the daytime when the sun's out can be about 4 to 8 degrees warmer than surrounding areas that don't have that much concrete. So it's going to hold on to that heat. And it's kind of the same exact effect during the overnight hours as well. So all of that cement and the asphalt is going to be holding on to the warmth. Think about it. If you were to step outside right now, the sun is about to go down, probably hasn't been shining on a lot of areas that are over concrete. If you were to feel that, it's still going to be very warm. So it holds on to that heat for hours after the sun has gone down. And because of this, we've actually had record warm, low temperatures in the Chicago area for the last 3 days. On Saturday morning, we had a record warm low. Same thing on Sunday morning. And then this morning, Monday morning, we actually tied the record warm low temperature, which was 79 degrees. So we've been experiencing this urban heat island effect for the last couple of nights, and we're likely going to be experiencing it again tonight too. So another way that we can show you this is take a look at this graph, and what you're looking at is in the center where you see that red line kind of jumping up. That's showing that we are warmer in city areas. But if you were to travel out to, say, the immediate suburbs of the Chicago area, so those urban residential areas, that's also going to be holding on to quite a bit more heat. Think of subdivisions or places that are very close to the downtown area. But then as you gradually go out toward rural areas, farmland, all of that vegetation, the grass, it's not going to be holding on to quite as much heat. That's why it's not going to be quite as warm during the day and also during the night. Because remember, even at nighttime, it's making a really big difference. So let's talk about our weather alerts here. All locations that you see on this map that are highlighted in some portion of orange or pink, that is some sort of heat headline. So the orange, that's representing heat advisories, and all of the pink, that is representing an extreme heat warning. So we've been dealing with that here at home in Cook County as well as LaPorte County, but take a look off toward the east. So those mid-Atlantic states all the way up into the New England states and the Northeast, dealing with extreme heat warnings all the way through tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. But again, it's not just this location. If we slide things back to the west, places like Detroit, Flint, same exact deal. Tomorrow, 7 p.m. is when we should finally start to feel some sort of relief. And the reason for that is we're going to have a frontal boundary that's draping across the area. That's going to bring us periodic showers and thunderstorms. So we see some relief in sight, but even after that relief is here, it's still going to be hot. But the difference is the nighttime hours are going to be able to get quite a bit cooler. If we zoom things in closer to home, so I do want to point out that we're starting to see the heat advisory being chipped away closer to our area. Notice west of LaSalle County, no longer in that heat advisory. And for most of us near and north of I-80, here locally, we're looking at the heat advisories and the extreme heat warnings being dropped at midnight tonight, with the exception being Kankakee County, down here, so the far southern sections of Chicagoland, over into Newton, Jasper, and LaPorte counties. Those are the 4 counties that are going to be holding on to the heat advisories and the extreme heat warnings until 7 p.m. tomorrow. So we do have one more day that we really have to get through. So a big picture view here. The overall setup that we have is that high pressure system that I started off with telling you about, that heat dome. That's going to stay over the eastern half of the U.S. But notice the western half, how we have that really large dip in the jet stream. So that's called a trough. Because of that, it's a little stormier, it has more clouds, so it's actually cooler than average, and it's pretty much going to be the same exact setup tomorrow too, although that cooler than average air, it's starting to try and get a little bit closer to us. But if you're holding your breath for cooler conditions here at home, you're not going to get them this week. We're still looking at upper 80s, low 90s each and every day. Again, the difference on the reason that we're going to see these heat headlines expiring is because we will be able to get some relief during the overnight. And typically when we're talking about a heat wave, or if you have heat advisories, extreme heat warnings, it's because we're not able to cool those temperatures during the overnight. So there's really no relief for folks that don't have AC or a way to stay cool. But in the coming days, the days are still going to be hot. It's the nighttime that's going to get a little bit better for you. So the satellite and radar, this frontal boundary that you see here, it's a stationary front for most of the region. And you'll notice we're seeing signs of showers and thunderstorms kind of all along that. And the yellow shading that we have stretching from portions of northeastern Kansas through Missouri into Iowa and then up into Wisconsin, those are severe thunderstorm watches. So we're very close to this frontal boundary, and it is expected to move into the Chicagoland area, although I do think the main severe threat, it is likely going to stay just barely to our north and our west. So if we zoom things in, this product is coming to us from the Storm Prediction Center, and they have all yellow shading areas here. That is a slight risk. The green is representing a marginal risk, which does include portions of Chicagoland. For those of you in McHenry, Lake County, Northern Cook County, DuPage, Kane, and portions of DeKalb County, we have a marginal risk. But here's what I'm going to say. Yes, we have a chance for showers and thunderstorms this evening and tonight, but the overall coverage of that and the threat, it does appear to be very, very low. I think the worst of the storm activity, that's going to be off to our north and our west in that yellow shading area. But tomorrow, notice how that marginal risk really begins to shift farther off to the south and then also extends all the way to the northeast. So the frontal boundary that I just showed you, right now it's oriented very northeast and southwest. It's going to become a little more zonal, meaning east to west. So right along that frontal boundary for the next several days, we're going to be seeing showers and thunderstorms developing, especially during the afternoon and evening hours when we have all of that heating, and that's going to support the potential of strong to severe thunderstorms. So damaging wind gusts going to be a concern for us here locally, especially tomorrow and then likely into Wednesday as well. But the rain, that's going to be another aspect of this. So some of these storms are going to be capable of torrential downpours. And with that being a stationary front, these showers and storms may not move all that quickly, which means we could be dealing with localized flooding at times across portions of the area over the next couple of days. But if you look at the drought monitor here, it looks really similar to the last couple of weeks when we've been showing you this. So a large portion of our region is highlighted in tan here. That's a moderate drought, but the far southwestern sections from LaSalle County through Grundy down into Kankakee and portions of northwest Indiana in that yellow shading, that's considered to be abnormally dry. So we really do need the rain across the area, and we're going to get it, some locations more than others. And I'll show you those totals coming up right after this break. We'll see you in 2 minutes. Welcome back. We are tracking showers and thunderstorms that are going to be moving through the area very periodically throughout the next 5 days or so. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're going to see showers and thunderstorms, some of which may end up becoming strong or severe. But the other side of this is, again, we really need the rain across the region. So if you take a look at the futurecast rainfall here for the Chicagoland area, a lot of us are looking at least a decent amount, but each and every day, all of those showers and storms, they're going to be very scattered in nature. So it's not going to be a wall of rain coming through every single day. And this map here is only running through about 9 p.m. on Wednesday. We still have storms in your forecast for Thursday, same thing on Friday as well. But depending on who gets some of those heavier downpours, it's really not going to be out of the question that some locations pick up over an inch of rain over the next couple of days, especially if those showers and storms really have a hard time in their forward momentum, which is certainly going to be possible because This is going to be a stationary front most of the time. Futurecast, let's run you through the overnight period tonight and into tomorrow morning. We're counting on showers and storms ongoing off to our north and to our northwest. That's eventually going to start to sag to the south. So tomorrow by midday, around noon, 1 p.m. or so, we're going to start to see showers and thunderstorms likely ticking upwards as far as coverage goes. So we're going to be seeing that scattered across the area during the afternoon. And again, some of those could have damaging wind gusts and possibly some really, really heavy rain as well. So localized flooding, that's going to be a concern here at home during your afternoon, your evening commute for locations that are seeing those showers and storms rolling through. And then on Wednesday, we basically do the same exact thing. So this frontal boundary, you'll notice how it's just kind of meandering north and south for the next couple of days. And then when we get into the afternoon heating, that's when we're going to see showers and thunderstorms developing, moving through, and then they're likely going to wane a little bit during the evening hours as we start to lose some of that heat. Now, even with that frontal boundary around and the cloud cover and the showers and thunderstorms, it's still going to be very, very warm here the next couple of days. Upper 80s, low 90s expected, but there is a little bit of relief for those of us that are closer to the lakefront, and that includes the city of Chicago. So tomorrow, 92 degrees. That's where I think we're going to make it to at O'Hare, but then closer to the lakefront, especially in the afternoon when that front begins to sag to the south, we're very easily going to see temperatures dropping down into the 70s and low 80s closer to the lake. So locations, Chicago northward, I think we're looking pretty refreshing tomorrow afternoon. But again, before that cooler air rushes in off of the lake, it's still going to be a hot morning. Here's a look at your temperature outlook. This is from the 29th through July 3rd, so rounding out the month. And you'll notice that our area is still kind of shaded in that warmer than average color here. So we are still favored to see above average conditions. In fact, most of the continental United States is. And then taking us all the way into the very beginning of July. So over that 4th of July holiday everybody wants to know about. Here at home, through Michigan, through most of the Midwest, most of the Great Lakes region, it's looking like we should be fairly normal for this time of the year. So typically what you would expect in the beginning of July, at least here in the Midwest, is likely in the low to mid 80s, and that's about where we're going to be. Tonight, 77 degrees, so we are going to be slightly cooler than where we have been the last couple of days. But again, we're right back at that heat tomorrow in the 90s, and then showers and thunderstorms are expected as well. I'm going to have your full detailed forecast coming up on the news at 9 p.m. We'll see you soon.